You are what you eat. This is probably the best known saying about food. You've heard it 1,000 times. But have you thought about what it really means? Because it's true in the most literal way you can imagine. Because when you think about it, our bodies are nothing but a collection of individual cells that go together to make up one very large object we like to call our body. So when we look in the mirror, it is not actually our cells that we see, but the vehicle which we get around in during the time we are alive. This vehicle changes appearance as we get older, but we don't, although our attitude may change as we get older and wiser. This body, along with the millions of cells it is made up of, requires energy. And in the history of mankind, that energy has always come from the nutrients in food. Without nutrients, our cells won't get the energy to power our bodies. But there's a problem. Food just isn't what it used to be. In subsequent videos, I'd like to take you through the reasons why this is so. There are 3 key issues. 1, food doesn't provide the benefits that it used to, and there are 2 problems with this. Fruit and vegetables are missing nutrients because they aren't in the soil, and they have unwanted pesticides and other residues. 2, type of food have changed. We no longer eat seasonal produce, and much of the food has been genetically modified. 3, time to shelf. Whereas food used to be walked to market, is now maybe grown 1,000 miles away, picked before it is ripe, and then stored and sprayed with other chemicals. The combination of these 3 issues means that there is a gap in our nutrient intake. Of course, this is made even worse when our modern diets are often so full of processed and inflammatory foods. Let's face it, they're called convenience foods because they're convenient in our modern rushed lives. But just because they're convenient and taste good doesn't mean they're good for us. But even whole and fresh foods don't necessarily have the levels of nutrients in them to support optimal health. The level of health we are interested in nurturing. In this video, I'd like to start at the beginning, where the foods are grown, before they are even harvested. The issues here are twofold. Firstly, the soil doesn't have enough nutrients to deliver what it should. And secondly, the pesticides and other nasties that are used to help the food grow faster and protect it from disease are not good for us. They are designed to deter insects, and that means we should not be eating them either. Soil? Let's start with the soil in which our food is grown. Modern farming is very intensive. Often the soil doesn't have time to recover between crops. This means farmers often have to resort to harsh chemicals and fertilizers. The results is the soil in which crops are grown often isn't very nutrient dense. When nutrients aren't in the soil, they can't possibly be in our food. A 2004 study evaluated Department of Agriculture data for 43 garden crops from 1950 to 1999. The researchers found statistically reliable declines for 6 nutrients: proteins, calcium, potassium, iron, and vitamins B and C, but no change for 7 others. Ever since humans developed agriculture, we've been transforming the planet and throwing the nutrients in the soil out of balance, says Ronald Munson, from Berkeley, in a 215 paper called Science, Soil and Human Security in the 21st Century. Because these changes happen slowly, often taking 2 or 3 generations to be noticed, people are not cognizant of the geological transformations taking place. According to research cited by Courtney White, author of Grass, Soil, Hope, a study in Australia found that apples had lost 80% of their vitamin C between 1948 and 1991 due to soil depletion, and the vitamin A content of carrots had plummeted by 99%. Meanwhile, in a UK study cited by White, nearly all vegetables had seen copper reduced by 76%, calcium by 46%, iron by 27%, magnesium by 24%, and potassium by 16%. The UK study covered the 50-year period from 1940 to 1990. I could go on and on, citing various reports and studies throughout the world, and they all say the same, and the situation is getting worse. So we recognize whole foods should be our primary source of nutrition, but they're just not enough anymore. I'd be interested in your thoughts about this. In the next video, I'll touch on pesticides and some other things that affect our food. Until then, bye for now.